I'm Fabian from Sunbelt Valve Bodies. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about variators and how to disassemble them. We have the variators from RE0F011A CVT Transmissions. We're going to go ahead and tear these down and see how they come apart. The other thing we're going to show you here is some of the tools that you would need to do this disassembly. One is the rubber hammer. We have a 1/2-inch impact gun. We have a 1-inch socket. We have a 34mm socket. We have a 1 13/16 socket. We got our air hose, and we also have safety glasses, which is probably the most important tool that you would need today. And we also have our tool to extract the pulleys apart, which is called the Lock Model TJ1. You would definitely need to get one of these tools to be able to do these operations. So at this point, what I'm going to do is bring in my tech, Renee, and he's going to go ahead and disassemble these, and we're going to talk about it as we go. Come on in, Renee. How you doing today?
How you doing?
Good. All right. First things first, safety glasses. And let's take about the primary one first. So let's just move this one out of the way. Now, these are pressed-in fit variators. So he's going to go ahead and remove the nut. Now, before you remove the nut, I just want to tell you, take this off for a second. This nut is the opposite to loosen. So, to loosen it, you would go clockwise. To tighten it, you're going to go counterclockwise. Very important you know, these are opposite thread nuts. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, now this gear and this bearing is under pressure right now, so it's pressed on. Let's go ahead and use a tool. Okay, so he's going to go ahead and take the bearing and the gear off at this point. Going to just help him a little bit to keep it steady. Okay, he's locking himself in position. It's good to do this with two people. Just gives him a hand to hold the tool. It's a little awkward. Well, there you go. Pretty simple. Okay, so this is the primary gear on the variator. Let's just take a look at the gear. The gear looks like it's in good shape. Doesn't look like it's chewed up. We're looking good there. This is the bearing for it. It seems like it's in pretty good shape. We would probably reuse this bearing over again. Okay? Let's go ahead and remove the rest of it. Good, I'm going to just assist him. You want to catch it just above the pulley lip. You're not pulling on the pulley itself. Make sure you have this position correctly. Renee, let's show that for a second. Can you show this? See right here? Make sure you're not hitting the pulley. You just want to lift this part up. Okay, position yourself correctly. Okay? So we'll move back and we'll go ahead. Again, safety. All right. Pretty simple. Now, let's go ahead and loosen this up. I want to show you something he's pointing at. What this is the keeper for the variator. It is just a roller bearing and a keeper. If you look, let's go ahead and tear this apart. That roller bearing fits in this groove. So you got to make sure that you put it back in the same groove. This locks the pulley into place. Okay? This part here is we have our first piston. We'll go ahead and knock it out. It seats in here. This is our drum. And then we have our first seal, which looks like it's got a little damage on it. So we would probably replace that seal. So we would go ahead and put this aside. On this piece here, we're going to have to use a little air to get it out. So Renee's going to go ahead and apply a little air to the piston through the hole right there, okay, so he can get the piston out. There you go. Same thing we're looking at here. We're looking at the seal. Want to make sure that there was nothing wrong with that seal when we took it apart. It looks like it's in shape, and there's also an inside seal. So this was pretty a tight fit. You also want to look at the cup itself. You can see that there's no groove, so it looks like it's in good shape. We'll make sure we put new seals on when we reassemble this one. Okay. Let's go ahead and move to the other pulley. So that was our primary pulley. Now we're going to go do our secondary. Secondary pulley is a little bit more dangerous than the first. This one has a high pressure spring in it. So let's go ahead and start removing this one, Renee. So this one's under pressure. Be careful when you're backing off the nut. Again, clockwise to loosen. Okay, and this is also tapered fit. Let's go ahead and get our tool in place. I'm just assisting him in holding it. Sometimes it's better to work with two people. So you're catching it right on the lip of the pulley. Let's make sure that we're on there correctly. ¿Estás bien puesto? Okay. At this point, we're going to go ahead. This is very important to be careful in this one. This is definitely a pressured spring area. You want to tighten up your clamp good here. So I'm going to keep my fingers away. Wow, that spring was under a lot of pressure. So you definitely have to be careful. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got here. So we have our outer bearing. Oh, and that bearing's in bad shape, so we probably wouldn't use this bearing over again. The seal is here for the piston. Looks like it's in good shape, but if you're going to rebuild it, you might as well put new seals on it. Here we have our spring. You can see it's heavy duty, very under a lot of pressure. This is very dangerous. You need to be careful. And also here we have our keeper as well. Same design as the primary pulley. Here we have our piston inside cup, and this wheel right here is called the exciter wheel. This is where the secondary speed sensor picks up its signal from. Go ahead and pull it off. And there's only one piston on this side on the secondary, but you can also see that this has a groove where the roller bearing rides in. This is the locking position and the keeper. And if you look at right here, this pulley has a little bit of wear on it. This pulley does too. You could run some sandpaper over and clean it up and reuse it. So this is ready. You got them apart. Also, we have our lower bearing, which is also in, let me give it a good spin. It's also making a little bit of noise, so we would replace this pulley as well. That's about it. Thank you for coming by Sunbelt today. I hope you enjoyed our demonstration of how to tear apart the variator pulleys. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thanks, Renee.